All right, so let's take a deep dive into all these Apple Mac announcements from last week.
Yeah.
You send over a bunch of articles.
Mm-hmm.
You've got like news articles and rumors, and even like Apple's official press release.
It's a good mix.
It is a really good mix. So we're going for like that informed insider status by the end of this.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really interesting how Apple built up the anticipation for these reveals.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It felt very orchestrated, like a slow burn marketing campaign.
Totally. Remember that Greg Joswiak post on X telling everyone to Mac their calendars?
Yeah.
I felt like a kid waiting for Christmas.
Uh-huh.
The rumor mill was going crazy. Everyone was like, new iMac,
Yeah.
new M4 chips. And then there was that whisper about the Mac Mini finally getting a redesign.
Yeah, and that turned out to be true.
It did.
Like a pretty dramatic redesign, too. Especially considering the Mac Mini hadn't been updated in, 14 years?
14 years.
Yeah.
I mean, the old Mac Mini was practically a museum piece at this point.
Yeah.
And then to see it shrink down from a 7.5-inch square to a tiny 5 by 5 inches.
Wow.
It's smaller than an Apple TV.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's almost like holding a deck of cards now.
This miniaturization trend is happening across all of tech.
Yeah.
But Apple Silicon is a key factor. Their chips are so efficient
Right.
that you can get these smaller designs without giving up any power.
Yeah.
This is a really big deal for the future of computing. Think about it. Even more powerful devices, but even tinier.
Yeah.
It's almost like bending the laws of physics a little bit.
Yeah. And on top of that, this new Mac Mini is Apple's first carbon neutral Mac,
Oh, that's right.
which is a big deal for anyone who cares about the environment.
Definitely. It really shows that they're serious about sustainability, which is something we're seeing more and more, thankfully.
Yeah.
But let's get into the real meat of it here. The performance boost.
Yeah.
The new M4 and M4 Pro chips
Yes.
in the Mac Mini, they're not messing around.
So break it down for us. What does this actually mean for the average person?
Okay, so even the base M4 chip is 1.8 times faster for everyday stuff and 2.2 times faster for graphics than the M1 chip.
Wow.
This means that apps launch quicker, websites load faster, the whole system just feels snappier.
Okay.
And then for things like editing your vacation videos, even 4K, it's going to be buttery smooth.
Nice.
No more waiting around for things to render.
And then for people who need even more power, there's the M4 Pro.
Exactly.
What kind of difference are we talking about here for that?
Think professional level stuff.
Okay.
Like 3D rendering, high-res video editing, that sort of thing.
Got it.
Imagine rendering complex scenes in Blender almost 3 times faster than before.
Wow.
That's a game changer for people who depend on that kind of speed for their work.
Yeah, totally. It's not just Apple incrementally bumping up speeds.
No, they're pushing their silicon advantage even further.
Okay.
This could really widen the gap between their performance and Intel-based PCs.
Interesting.
They're setting a new standard.
Speaking of standards, let's talk connectivity.
Yeah.
Thunderbolt 5 is finally here, but there's a catch?
Yeah, the catch is it's only on the M4 Pro Mac Mini.
Okay, so for people who might not know,
Right.
Thunderbolt is that super fast connection standard
Mm-hmm.
that Apple uses for things like connecting displays or hard drives.
Exactly.
So what does the jump to Thunderbolt 5 actually mean in real life?
Well, for one thing, think blazing fast data transfers.
Okay.
We're talking up to 120 gigabits per second.
Wow.
Imagine backing up your entire photo library in just seconds.
That's insane.
It's a huge leap forward.
Okay, I'm starting to see why they only put it on the Pro model.
Yeah.
But besides just speed, what else does Thunderbolt 5 bring to the table?
Well, it can support multiple high-resolution displays. So if you've got those fancy 6K monitors,
Nice.
you're in for a treat. And it opens up possibilities for external devices that were limited by bandwidth before.
Okay.
Imagine doing pro-level audio or video editing on the go with all your external gear.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
But there is a trade-off, right?
There is. Apple has completely gotten rid of USB-A ports on the new Mac Mini.
So RIP to that good old rectangular USB port that everyone knows.
Yeah.
Is Apple forcing us into a world of dongles? I mean, how many of us still have that one trusty external hard drive or a printer that needs a USB-A connection?
It's a bold move from Apple.
It is.
On the one hand, it lets them make a sleeker design. And it might push people to get newer peripherals.
Right.
But it's also a problem for people who haven't fully embraced USB-C.
Totally. It's going to be interesting to see how people adapt to that.
Definitely.
Okay, so we've covered the miniaturization, the power, and the connectivity.
Yeah.
But there's one more big thing, Apple Intelligence.
Right.
It's in these new Macs, and the latest iOS update.
Mm-hmm.
This is Apple making a statement in the AI world.
This is where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
Apple's positioning themselves very differently from like other companies in AI. Right. They're all about privacy and on-device processing.
Exactly. Instead of your data going off to some giant server farm,
right,
it's processed right there on your Mac or iPhone.
Exactly.
They even came up with this thing called private cloud compute for stuff that needs extra power. With all the data breaches happening lately, this is going to be a huge selling point for a lot of people.
It's a big contrast to what we're seeing from Google and Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
They built their AI models on like tons of data collection.
Yeah.
This brings up some questions, though.
Okay.
Is Apple late to the game with their AI?
Right.
Or are they playing a totally different game?
I like that.
Yeah.
We'll have to dig into that more later.
Definitely.
But before we move on, I need a little more on what Apple Intelligence actually does.
Okay.
It's one thing to talk about privacy.
Right.
But what are the real-world benefits?
Okay, so imagine asking Siri to summarize a meeting you missed.
Okay.
It can pull info from your calendar and notes to give you a rundown.
Cool.
Or think about the new writing tools. They can automatically rewrite your text catch typos.
Oh, nice.
And even summarize long documents.
So it's not just Siri talking in a slightly more human voice.
No.
We're talking about tools that can actually help us work better.
Exactly. And even the fun features have practical uses.
Okay.
Like the new Gen emoji.
Yeah.
You can make emojis based on your own pictures.
Oh, cool.
It seems fun, but it shows how AI can personalize things.
I'm definitely making a Genmoji of my cat.
Uh-huh.
But seriously, this all sounds awesome.
Yeah.
But I know some people are hesitant about AI. What would you say to them?
It's totally understandable to have reservations.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to remember that Apple's giving you a choice.
Okay.
You can opt out of AI features, limit data collection.
Yeah.
You can even use ChatGPT without an account. It's about finding a balance you're comfortable with.
That's a good point. You're not being forced into anything.
Right.
Okay, let's talk about cost. How much will all this cost?
The M4 Mac Mini starts at $599.
Okay.
And the M4 Pro is $1,399.
So some tough choices to make.
Yeah.
Break the bank now or wait for reviews.
Right.
Pre-orders are open, and they ship November 8th.
That's right. Just around the corner.
And we can't forget about the accessories.
Oh, yeah, the new accessories.
The Magic Keyboard, trackpad, and mouse.
They all use USB-C now.
Yeah.
Continuing that push toward a USB-C world.
All right, so we've got a redesigned Mac Mini.
Uh-huh.
It's smaller, faster, more sustainable.
Yeah.
And it's packed with AI. But they also got rid of USB-A.
Right.
Which is going to be annoying for some.
It's definitely a mixed bag.
It is.
Apple has their vision of the future.
Yeah.
And it remains to be seen if everyone will be happy with it.
This is where the deep dive really begins.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the basics down, but now we need to go deeper.
Definitely.
So let's unpack the impact of Apple Intelligence.
Okay.
Is it really a game changer?
Let's see. I think it has the potential to really get its impact, though.
Okay.
We need to look past like the individual features and see how Apple Intelligence fits into Apple's like bigger plan.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
What's the big picture then?
It's all about making this like tightly integrated ecosystem.
Okay.
Apple is already known for controlling the hardware and software.
Right.
But with Apple Intelligence, they're going a step further.
Okay.
They're creating their own AI ecosystem, one that's really baked into everything they do.
So it's not just about like a smarter Siri or some cool writing tools.
Right.
It's about making AI part of like the whole Apple experience.
Exactly. And because Apple controls everything, from the chips to the OS to the AI, they have a level of control that other companies just don't.
That sounds like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
On one hand, you have this potential for a seamless experience.
Right.
Where everything just works.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it could feel limiting.
Uh-huh.
Especially for people who like to use different devices and platforms.
That's true. If you like to mix and match, Apple's approach might not be for you.
Right.
But for people already in the Apple world,
it
could be a big selling point.
So for someone thinking about getting a new Mac Mini or iPhone, is Apple Intelligence the deciding factor?
Well, it depends.
Okay.
Like, how do you use your devices?
Yeah.
If you mostly browse the web check, email watch videos, you might not notice a huge difference.
Okay.
But if you spend a lot of time writing, editing, or working with creative tools, then Apple Intelligence becomes way more useful.
So it's about making those everyday tasks faster and smoother.
Exactly. Think about the writing tools.
Yeah.
Imagine writing an email, and then the AI cleans up your grammar, improves the sentences, and even suggests better words.
That would save so much time.
Yeah, and it could make you a much better communicator.
And it's not just about writing.
Right.
It's about giving you these superpowers across all your devices.
That's a great way to put it. And those superpowers go beyond just productivity. Think about entertainment.
Like what?
Imagine using Apple Intelligence to make your music better.
Okay.
It could analyze what you listen to and then suggest new artists or tracks, or it could make personalized playlists based on your mood.
So it's like having a personal DJ in your pocket.
Pretty much.
I'm into that.
Yeah.
But let's switch gears for a sec.
Okay.
What about developers?
Oh, this is a huge opportunity for them.
How so?
Apple's giving them all these tools to make AI-powered apps.
Cool.
We're going to see a ton of innovation.
In what areas?
Like education, healthcare, entertainment.
So get ready for apps that can do things we've never seen before.
Exactly. Imagine an education app that changes lessons for each student.
Wow.
Or a healthcare app that analyzes your symptoms and gives you advice.
That's wild.
The possibilities are endless.
But with all these benefits, you have to talk about the concerns.
Right.
Like job displacement. Are we going to see AI taking over jobs?
It's a valid concern.
It is.
Some jobs will probably be automated as AI gets smarter.
Right.
But AI is also creating new jobs and new opportunities.
So it's not like robots are taking over.
Not exactly. It's more about humans and AI working together to solve problems and create new things.
Interesting.
It's about finding the right balance
Got it.
between automation and human creativity.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of fear around AI.
There is.
People are worried about machines controlling everything.
Yeah. But while it's good to be aware of the risks, we also need to be optimistic about the good stuff.
Right.
AI can change our lives for the better.
Right.
But it's up to us to make sure it's developed responsibly.
Well said. It reminds me that technology is a tool.
Exactly.
It can be used for good or bad.
Yeah.
But it's us humans who are in control.
Totally. And as we go forward, we need to have these conversations about the future we want with AI.
So where do we go from here?
I think the most important thing is to stay informed, stay curious, and be part of the conversation. AI is going to have a big impact.
Right.
And we need to be involved in shaping that.
Okay, that all makes sense.
Yeah.
But let's go back to the Mac announcements for a sec.
Okay.
We talked a lot about Apple Intelligence. But what about the Mac Mini itself?
Right.
Is it worth upgrading to?
If you want a powerful, compact computer that's good on energy, then yeah, the new Mac Mini is worth checking out.
Okay.
The performance is way better. The design is sleek. And Apple Intelligence adds a whole new level of what you can do.
And for someone who's been using an older Mac Mini, the difference is going to be huge.
Oh, absolutely. It's like going from a horse and buggy to a Tesla.
Wow.
You'll experience speed and power you never thought possible.
Okay, I'm sold.
Huh.
But what about the elephant in the room?
The USB-A ports.
Yeah. Is that a deal breaker?
It depends. Okay. If you're already using USB-C, then it's not a problem. Right. But if you have a lot of old devices, you'll need adapters.
So you get this cutting-edge computer.
Yeah.
But you might need dongles.
That's true.
Yes.
But for most people, I think the benefits outweigh the hassle.
Okay.
Apple is betting on USB-C being the standard.
Yeah.
And other companies will probably follow.
So the new Mac Mini is a preview of that future.
Yeah.
A future where everything is connected wirelessly.
It's definitely a step toward that.
Cool.
And with Apple Intelligence, it's a future where our devices are more intuitive and helpful.
It's exciting and a little scary.
I know, right?
But that's technology for you. It pushes us out of our comfort zones.
It's true. And the important thing is to embrace the change.
Okay.
Stay curious and keep learning.
Yeah.
Because the future of technology is being written right now.
Wow.
And we're all part of it.
Okay, so we've covered a lot.
Yeah, we have.
We talked about Apple Intelligence, the good and bad of the new Mac Mini, and like the big trends in technology.
It's been a great discussion.
It has.
And I think the main takeaway for everyone listening is this.
What's that?
Stay informed, stay engaged, and don't be afraid of the future.
Love it. That's great advice.
Yeah.
So let's take a quick break.
That's good.
When we get back, we'll finish up our deep dive with some final thoughts on the Mac announcements and what they mean for the future of computing. All right, so we're back and ready to wrap up our deep dive into Apple's Mac announcements.
Yeah.
We covered a lot. The new Mac Mini Apple Intelligence, the future of computing. Where do we even go from here?
It's been a lot to take in for sure.
It has.
But I think as we finish up, it's good to zoom out and look at the big picture.
Okay. I like that zoom out big picture.
Yeah.
Give me that 30,000-foot view. What's the main takeaway here?
Well, one big theme is how our digital and physical worlds are like blending together.
Okay, yeah.
We're seeing it with things like spatial computing. The way devices are getting more connected and how AI is becoming part of our everyday lives.
So it's not just about sitting at a computer anymore.
Right. Technology is getting more immersive, more personal. It's almost like an extension of ourselves.
That's interesting.
And Apple is fully embracing this trend. Their work with spatial computing and the Vision Pro, the focus on AI with Apple Intelligence, and their push for a seamless experience across all their devices. It all points to a future where technology is less about separate gadgets and more about a connected ecosystem that improves our lives.
That's a cool vision.
Yeah.
But it makes you wonder, is there a point where it's too much? How do we protect our privacy and not become too reliant on technology?
Those are really important questions.
They are.
And they're ones we need to think about both personally and as a society. We need to be smart about how we design and use these technologies and have open conversations about their impact on us.
It's a good reminder that technology isn't good or bad on its own.
Exactly.
It reflects the values of the people who make it. And we have a responsibility to make sure it's used for good.
I totally agree. It's about finding a balance between pushing the limits of what's possible and making sure we protect human values and well-being.
So convergence is one big theme. What else sticks out to you about these Mac announcements?
Another thing is Apple's focus on vertical integration.
Okay, what does that mean?
They're designing their own chips, making their own operating systems, and now with Apple Intelligence, they're building their own AI.
So they're controlling the whole experience.
Yeah, from the hardware to the software to the AI. This gives them a lot of control over quality, performance, and security. But it also raises questions about competition and choice. Well, if Apple is making all the decisions, does that limit options for people who want something different?
That's a good point.
Or people who don't want to be stuck in their ecosystem?
It's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, especially as Apple Intelligence grows and becomes more integrated.
Okay, so we've got convergence and vertical integration. Any other big takeaways?
I think the last one is just the speed of innovation.
It's crazy how fast things are changing.
It is. Technology is advancing faster than ever. Things that were like science fiction are becoming real.
It's a lot to keep up with.
It can be, but it's also really exciting. We're living in a time with so much potential. Technology can help us solve big problems and make things better for everyone.
It's a good reminder to focus on the positive. It's easy to get caught up in the hype or the fear. But technology is a tool, and we decide how to use it.
That's a great way to put it. So as we move forward, we should approach these new things with curiosity, with a sense of responsibility, and with the goal of using technology for good.
I like that. So what's the final message for our listeners?
I think it's this. Stay informed, stay curious, and don't be afraid to ask questions. The future is something we create.
That's great advice. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive.
It's been fun.
It has. Thanks for joining us as we explored Apple's Mac announcements.
Thanks for having me.
And the bigger trends they show us.
It's been a great discussion.
I hope you found it interesting and thought-provoking.
Me too.
And maybe even a little inspiring. Until next time, stay curious.